Good evening. Hope you had a wonderful Saturday. It certainly was beautiful. We are in Exodus 38, and I want to ask you this evening, have you ever done an inventory? You know, some people will say a census, a count. In this chapter, Exodus 38 and verse 21, Moses ordered that there would be an inventory of the amount of material that was used so far to build the tent of meeting. It said in that verse, this is the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of testimony as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses. Do you ever look and write down and just think about all the talents, treasure, and time that you have in your hands? And do you assess? Are you being a faithful steward of what God has entrusted? In this chapter, you see that people were excited, and all the chapters before, they were very encouraged and motivated to give their gifts toward the building of this worship center because it was a portable tent. So wherever it would move, they said that the Spirit of God, they would be able to worship God in there. And we know that we're portable tents, we're tabernacles. But what are we doing with the contents that God has given us? Now we see in verse 8, that is an example, I think is one of the first examples where it mentions women gave to this effort, this project. It said that the women who were standing by the tabernacle doors, they gave of the material to make the basins, right? It said he made the basin and stand out of the bronze mirrors given by women who served at the entrance of the tent of meeting. So it's not only Bezalel and Aholiab, right? And they're mentioned again in verses 22 and verses 23, where, of course, Aholiab was a master engraver and he was the assistant of Bezalel. And we know that Bezalel was the main artist, the visionary, and he was gifted in his hands. But most importantly, he had the Spirit of the Lord. So I want to ask you, what has God given you that you have not tapped into? And the more that we use it, the more he will replenish and increase our gifts. Because he said, oh, you are faithful with this little. Oh, I'm going to make you ruler. I'm going to increase it all the more. I'm going to multiply it. And what scripture goes with that in the New Testament is Luke 12:48. And Timothy has recently quoted this on Windy City Live. And I think I'm going to post that video, that link. But he said, too much is given, much is required. Well, yeah, that is in Luke 12:48. So when God has gifted you and poured out so much generosity and blessings, we have to be faithful stewards with that. Right? Because he's entrusting us and he will get the glory as we are displaying to the world that we can manage the resources temporarily because, this is all finite. Time is finite here on this side. And so is treasures. If we don't use our talents, guess what? He'll, take someone else and put them in a position where you should have been serving. The same thing with the treasures. Yeah, those fly away. But we want to make sure that we are serving God with all that he has given us. So let's give our gifts so that we can be portable tents, tabernacles, worshiping the Lord wherever he places us. I hope you have a wonderful evening, getting rest and being replenished with our strength so we can worship God in spirit and in truth tomorrow morning in fellowship with one another. Have a good evening.